Hey there YouTube, Raj here. I hope you guys are doing well. I've got a video for you where I'm going to be showing you 5 fragrances from my fragrance collection that are for a gentleman, or this is definitely my idea of fragrances worn by a gentleman. As I said, these are fragrances from my collection, so this isn't like a definitive list of every fragrance that exists or is out there at the moment. Just the ones that I own. So what do I mean by a gentleman, and what type of fragrance does a gentleman wear? Well, whenever I think of a gentleman, I think of somebody who is maybe refined, classy, polite, has charisma, isn't a bland person, has that added level of depth, has different interests in life maybe, likes their fragrance to have character and body, but not necessarily one that is going to shout and project all over the place. Sometimes can be more understated, and generally classy is the vibe. It's definitely something I try to aspire to. Whether I'm there yet, I'm not 100% sure, but at least I can smell like a gentleman with these fragrances that I'm going to mention. So, kicking things off with fragrance number 1 from the brand Guerlain, and this one is called, well, in English, I guess I would call it Derby, but I believe in France they say Derby, so, whatever, however you want to say it. This is a fragrance that I picked up when I was in Paris from their, I believe it's called the Place Vendôme store, which is on Rue Saint-Honoré. And this is a really beautiful fragrance. I really like the wooden frame that it comes in. It's definitely on the more masculine side. It's such a beautiful fragrance. It's leathery and green and aromatic and slightly floral as well. It really has a classy vibe to it. It really feels to me like somebody in a power suit, somebody who's high up within whatever they do, whether it be work, whether they're an entrepreneur. It really has this very, it smells wealthy to me actually. It smells rich, like a rich man. So it's a really beautiful fragrance. It's definitely a little bit on the pricier side, but I think you get great quality with this fragrance. And yeah, this is a confident fragrance. It smells like somebody who is confident who would wear this, and it has a nice amount of depth. And guys, when it comes to, I think, being the sort of total package, there are so many things we can strive for or try to achieve or aspire to be like, to become a gentleman. But I think one of the most, probably the most attractive quality that a man can have, or anyone can have really, but from a male perspective, confidence is key. There are so many other things that people try to focus on, fashion and fragrance as well, bodybuilding and all this, going to the gym and aesthetics, but actually confidence from within is key, and I think a confident man is likely to wear Guerlain's Derby. Okay, so let's go on to the next fragrance from the brand Parfums de Nikolai. This is a fairly recent acquisition for me. This is New York Intense. This is a gentleman who's maybe more on the classic side, has a traditional sort of appearance, doesn't wear too flashy clothes. Their suits are cut not in a too slim, skinny way, but in a more classic style. The colors that they wear of their clothing are a little bit of color here and there, but overall muted. They prefer things on the more understated style, and is overall just quite a classy guy who has substance but is not necessarily seen and heard by everyone. This is quite a wonderful fragrance. Green, aromatic, floral, spicy. Not a modern fragrance in the terms of the way that it smells. And I'm not sure that many people who are used to modern men's fragrances are going to maybe gravitate towards this, but I think once any guy who gets their nose on this probably is likely to really appreciate what's going on. It's a world away from the modern men's releases, mainly in the designer realm, which are very sweet or are bland and aquatic, but this one for me doesn't do that. It doesn't go down that route. It has a lot more depth going on in this fragrance that I really, really enjoy, and I definitely am looking forward to trying it a little bit more and doing a full review. Very gentlemanly. I feel like my dad would wear this fragrance. In fact, maybe I should get him a little 30 ml. Going on to the next fragrance, and this is from the brand Caron, and this is called Le Troisieme Homme, or the Third Man. Now this is definitely, again, like Parfums de Nicolai's New York Intense, it is classic in style, but doesn't smell dated or doesn't smell old. It's aromatic. Its lavender is quite noticeable in this one. Maybe a bit of grassy vetiver. It's herbal. It is one of those. It smells. I don't want to use the word sporty, but it is quite invigorating, you know. So it kind of has this feeling of like if you go to, let's imagine what this gentleman's going to be doing on a Sunday. He's down on the tennis courts, has a game of tennis, goes into the changing room, has a nice shower, and then comes out and does a sprays of this, and then goes out for lunch, you know, so with his wife or girlfriend, something like that. That's the kind of image I get in my mind. Very classy, really nice fragrance. Caron, it's a classic brand, and one that kind of does go under the radar, but definitely is worth checking out. So going on to the fourth fragrance in this list. This is a fragrance I've mentioned quite a few times on my channel. I've actually reviewed it twice, actually, which is kind of unusual. From the Italian brand Acqua di Parma, and this one is Colonia Intensa. You can see how much I've used of this bottle. I definitely have gone through this one. I like it a lot. This one is... This is a nice amount of depth in this fragrance. There's citrus, so it harks back to the original Colonia, but it's also got added notes of leather, spices in there. I'm not going to go into the full breakdown. You can check out my full review on it. Zesty lemon in the opening. It's fantastic. From the cap, it just smells great just on its own. But yeah, you know, the only thing I would say with this one is that it is an eau de cologne in terms of concentration. So I just wish it lasted a little bit longer. But I get a decent amount of performance here. Nothing to really complain about. Great fragrance from Acqua di Parma. They also... this Colonia line specializes in like this gentlemanly, classic, maybe you could say barbershop even type vibe about it. Really, really wonderful fragrance. So they have Essenza, they have the original Colonia. They're all worth checking out. Now going on to the final fragrance, and this is from the brand Miller Harris. This one and also the Parfums de Nikolai are fragrances I mentioned recently in my fragrance pickups video. And this one is called Vetiver Insolent. This is the gentleman going out in the evening. So going for dinner, going for drinks in a nice classy hotel bar, and wants something with a little bit more maybe earthiness, bit more bite to it, but nothing too crazy. He doesn't want people from the other side of the bar smelling him. He just wants the person that he's with or his friends that he's with to just get a few wafts of this fragrance. Earthy, nice amount of depth, a little bit smoky. I get coffee from this as well. I get bitter coffee. And it's fantastic. It's a really, really classy fragrance, and a fragrance that I feel a gentleman would wear. So there you go, guys. My list of 5 fragrances for a gentleman. Do you agree with these choices? Would you say that... what would you say are your choices? Maybe name your top 5. Whatever you have to say it. If you like what you see on this video or on my channel, hit the like button and subscribe, and check me out on Instagram as well, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.